The Barrymore acting dynasty dates all the way back to the 19th century, with Drew Barrymore's great-grandfather Maurice and his wife Georgiana Emma Drew. Many of the Drews were actors as well.
What's in a name? Well, in Barrymore, there's a lot. It's a dynasty, big drinkers and brilliant actors.
Her grandfather also have a long history of substance problems, specifically alcoholism.
Come on, can I get you a glass of milk, honey?
Milk? I'm a Barrymore. Get me a drink and make it a double.
Both her father and grandfather ultimately died from deteriorating health as a result of long-term alcohol abuse. And
adults who met you, say.
Love is no place for a child unless you're Drew Barrymore in the 80s. She started off a young, adorable star with promising talent and unfortunately succumbed to the Hollywood lifestyle. The Barrymores are an old Hollywood dynasty of powerful and lauded actors who apparently love to drink. If there's one thing we know about that trait, is that it runs in the family. Before she became the poster child of how not to raise a minor in the industry, she was just a child. She was born Drew Blythe Barrymore on February 22nd, 1975 in Culver City, California, to John Drew Barrymore and Jade Barrymore. As an infant, she was already being taken on auditions by her mother.
More and more trouble.
Well, I've grown up very fast, and it's not very normal to see a 9-year-old at a big Hollywood party drinking. And it looks a little weird, and people were laughing and just saying, you know, I dare you to do this, and I did.
By age 9, she'd had her first drink of alcohol. By 10, she'd smoked marijuana, and by 12, she was addicted to cocaine. Shockingly, not one of the adults she found herself partying with intervened. She'd already been to rehab more than once during her early adolescence, though she said in a 2015 interview with The Guardian that this was the lowest point in her life.
And what about the drugs?
That started when I was around 10 and 11, and
Who gave you your first drug, for goodness sake?
As I said then, they were friends, but they weren't really friends.
She was 13 when she was institutionalized in a mental facility for 18 months, and traumatic as this was, it gave her the chance to finally get clean. By 1989, she was institutionalized that the medical professionals treating her suggested legal emancipation, so she could get away from the emotional abuse of her mother. Despite only being 14, everyone agreed that she would fare much better on her own than if she was still dependent on her parents. When she was 15, she was back in Hollywood living in a rundown apartment working in the service industry, already a washed-up actress who'd been through it all. After all that,
addiction clearly runs in the family. But coming to grips with her past is more than coping with her Barrymore genes and being predisposed to addictive behavior. She also has recently reconciled with her mother, who she now realizes only did what was best for her after she did what was worst. Years of estrangement and venturing into motherhood has made Barrymore a lot wiser and more understanding of the mistakes of her parents. If there was ever an example in Hollywood of what not to do and how to come back.
She made it from rock motherfucking bottom as a kid back to the top.